My name is James Williams Jr. This is Kung Fu Habit number 2, and this is part 2 of the integrity video for you young ladies. As I said, your father or your mother will be pretty upset that you've had sex. Honestly, truly, the guy, they will be pretty fucking upset. The matter is that, if you are not taught the pros and cons of sex, because school doesn't teach you the pros and cons of sex. Basically, what they teach you is how to fuck. That's pretty much it. They teach you that you get that time of the month, and they teach you other things that you know, they teach you other things that you can manifest and you can understand. They don't teach us men how your vagina works. They don't. They might now, but when I was going through sex ed back in the fourth grade, and the fifth grade, and the sixth grade, and the seventh grade, I think that's when I stopped learning about sex ed. But they teach us how our penis gets hard. That's pretty much where it is. They teach us that babies come from our testicles, because our testicles contain the sperm that travels through those little um, urethra tracts or whatever the fuck you call them, into you, through your cervix, to your ovaries. 9 months later, Junior or Julie comes out. So basically, that's all they teach us men in sex education class. We don't know what they teach y'all because for some odd ass reason, we don't know what reason they they don't teach us how your vagina works extensively. We know that we have to get into your brain and into your heart to get into your vagina. Sometimes we really just got to get into your heart and we can get into your vagina easy peasy because it's easier for someone to believe the words I love you than the words I just want to have fucking sex. Alright? No woman's literally nowadays, I can't really make that statement 1,000% true, but the statement I'm about to make is that most women literally would rather make sex a love issue instead of a fucking issue. Now, I could be wrong on that, like totally. I could be totally wrong. It could be some of you women out there that just want to fuck. I'm sorry I haven't met any of you, but it could be some of you women who just want to fuck, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that you don't get pregnant by anybody and that you don't wind up on Maury Povich because I don't want to be one of the 13 people. Now, no, I'm not picking on people who've been on Maury Povich with you or not the father. I'm stating a motherfucking fact. Alright? You have to check yourself at the door. You know, things that they don't teach men about women's sex organs, and most of the things that they don't teach us is that we learned in the street, and in most of it, it is myth and legend about vaginas constantly stinking. Now, every now and again, some women might be unlucky. That's alright. Men's testicles smell just as bad. But if you wash properly and take care of yourself and eat the proper foods, you will be fine. I'm sure that they don't teach neither class that shit. Sex education is limited to what they are allowed to teach people due to regulations in schools and stuff like that. So, I'm not a teacher, so I don't have to obey regulations. Now, most of the time, I got some of my information off of doctor shows, which I recommended you go and find these doctor shows when they start talking about sex and embarrassing shit, and read some fucking books. So, for you women, you need to understand this. If you eat properly, if you wash properly, that little myth about you smelling awfully generally doesn't happen until your Aunt Flo comes to town. Now, I could be wrong on that because I don't have a vagina. But also, I never learned in class about the inside of the vagina other than that's where my penis goes and that's how I make another me. Alright? The hard part's on the woman. She has to take the dick and she has to carry the seed for 9 motherfucking months. Everything else, a man just sit back and do nothing. And that's what we do. It's really your choice if you're going to carry that seed to term. Now, as I said in the other video, you don't want to get pregnant by every dick that you ride because every dick that you ride is not daddy material. I'm sorry if I'm graphic, but I have to be. Because if I don't be, a lot of you uneducated people won't know what the fuck I'm talking about if I keep referring to penises and vaginas. Where if I say dicks and pussies, you might actually understand what the fuck I'm saying. Because depending on your lack of education, that's everything right there. The lack of education is how a lot of women get fucked over. The lack of education. Oh, well, I'm not gonna go to school because I don't need to know this shit. Let me tell you something. There was a time when most school dropouts were just men. As time has progressed and has gone on, a lot of school dropouts have become women. And a lot of times those school dropouts are women is because they fucked up. Yeah, I said it. They fucked up. They got pregnant. They wrote a dick that was not daddy material. And now they're singing the song, sisters are doing it for themselves. You're damn right you gotta do it for yourself because the asshat that you decided was going to be that baby daddy that you let impregnate you was just that. He was an asshat that did not deserve to get your cookies or your goods or your punani or your snatch or your great treats, God's gift to man, you know, the greatest drug ever, vagina sandwiches. Do I need to go on? Because I can. I can do this all day. You know, if it will change the life of one young lady so she won't go getting pregnant just because the words I love you came out his mouth. In situations like that, love has to be proven. It really does. It has to be proven. And to do so, you know, it takes work to actually show somebody that you truly love them. And you must be willing to work together. Most people are not. Sometimes it's just a rump in a sack, and next day I'm thinking, you know, you're a fucking daddy. You can't let that happen. Young ladies, getting pregnant to keep a man is rule number 0. You do not ever, 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 Chris Benoit ever, do that shit. You don't do that. That is not a fucking option. Young men, for you who bringing up young ladies into this world, that is the first fucking thing that we need to teach our daughters. Now, I'm not saying that the vagina is not sacred. I'm not saying that it is. But your body is your temple. When you corrupt your temple crumbles. This is not some Confucian shit. This is just a fucking stated fact of life. A lot of young women are misguided, and it doesn't matter if they are black, white, or Asian. Most of the time this happens in poor communities, which includes blacks, whites, and Asians. So, if you're going to not protect yourself, if you're going to not make sure that you don't become a mommy before your time, or get misled by some asshat that whispered in the dark that he loves you, only to knock you up and then run for the hills, or knock you up and try to fuck your much younger and prettier sister, you know, that's the things that you have to worry about. And we aren't teaching our kids. We are not teaching our little girls to respect themselves a little bit more. We're not teaching them what happens when you fuck up and have a baby with an asshat that doesn't want to be a daddy. So as a man, if I live long enough to have a daughter, I have to prepare her for this shit. I have nephews. I love them dearly. And they have sisters. And I have been wrong at teaching them what I've taught them. And I own that. Because I don't want them to go through the shit that I've gone through. Or any other man that's like me that's had to step up and do things for their family members because they procreated with people who did not have the right or should not have been given the blessings that a child is. So I teach my nephews to have sisters. When their boyfriends come to the door, you make the bionic bastards eat floor. Or else you'll be cleaning up diapers once and forevermore. Which is my story. I'd rather die than see my nephews or anybody go through that shit of taking care of other people's responsibilities. It's not a fucking option. It's not. We have to teach our kids how, especially our daughters. We have to teach them right from wrong. We have to straighten them up. We have to. We might not want that job, but it is your fucking job. It was your job from the moment you fucked up. Because your kid's not a fuck up. The decision you made to bring your kid into this life before you had the opportunity to straighten your shit up is where you fuck up. I'm James Williams Jr. and unfortunately there will be a third video on this. Be seeing you.